I'm just going to dive straight into Discord this evening.
There we go. So,
okay, right.
Finally, we are all here in time, surprisingly.
I'm sorry.
No, this time we're all fine.
Don't swear.
Yeah, I'm still muted this end. We're good to go then, yeah?
Yeah, you're live on the internet, don't swear. Also turn your alerts off.
All done.
Alerts are muted for everyone everyone in the audience. Alerts are muted for this portion of the stream because there's lots of us here. And it makes
there is a lot of us here today. If you see the Discord overlay, we've got 8 people, a bit more than normal.
It's not.
And today, not necessarily a real creator as usually we have. Well, more just, you know, random wankers.
Dr. Angwid does put some videos out as well. I don't know if you've seen them.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Sweet.
That's great. I didn't say not creators. I said not necessarily creators.
Yeah. That's okay.
So fuck you, DJ. Fuck you.
It's your fault again, DJ.
Huh? My fault again?
Yeah.
To be fair, like people, Dale Emasario was tweeting out that everything is now my fault.
That's fair enough.
So it is apparently now all my fault.
Once we know.
Yeah, I concur.
Yeah. Just blame me. It seems to be a safe.
So, another live stream. This week we're talking about aliens and incursion and the orange clouds and all those other things. And we've got TheYamiks, DJ Truthstar, and Exigious here, who's the regular streamers, and of course myself. And this week we got some guests. We got some people from the Anti-Xeno Initiative. That's Dr. Angwid.
Hello.
And Schwinky.
Hello.
And we've also got a couple of guests from Canon Research as well. That's Guru and Pan Piper.
Good morning.
So hello to you.
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
So the idea then is we're going to spend a bit of time, I think, talking first about the aliens and the new discoveries people have made. Oh, actually, we're talking about that later, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to talk about that later. First up, we're going to talk about the Thargoid incursions, which are the, if you haven't seen this, they're the new invasion state that's been added into the beta. It's a background simulation state, and it's currently set on beta in the Maya system. There's a whole bunch of different things there. An incursion would normally involve damaged starports. I don't think there's one damaged yet in the Maya system. But there are a whole bunch of non-human signal sources there, as well as some new anti-Xeno conflict zones. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We've got an expert Thargoid hunter here as well, so that should keep things a bit interesting. So I don't know who really wants to talk first. We can talk to the anti-Xeno guides about the incursions, I think. I know, Dr. Angwid, you've had plenty of time fighting Thargoids in the past. You do put up some videos on YouTube showing off all your activities, and we can put a link actually in chat here for people who might want to look at that a bit later. But you fight them in all manner of different ships, don't you?
Yeah, I don't tend to have one main one that I do. I like experimenting with the other ones.
Yeah, good. So, have you had a chance to have a look at the conflict zones yet? The anti-Xeno conflict zones?
So, I have had a bit of time to look at the conflict zones. I was in Maya for quite some time yesterday. I started out doing some stuff with my friends in the Sinbad regime. We were flying around that system, trying to find one that had like a good balance of scouts and interceptors. The only ones we had, though, were ones that had a bunch of scouts and a Hydra in a separate one. So the level of difficulty was really, really ranging. But we did jump into one earlier that had a Basilisk and a Cyclops variant inside of it, and that seemed pretty fun. There was definitely like a bunch of instancing problems because there were like 9 other commanders there. So we didn't get much time to work with that because we were having so many problems. And of course, we were on stream with you, Obsidian, a while ago, and we had fun with some Cyclops in there. So yeah, so far they're seeming pretty fun. What do you think, Schwinky?
For me, like you said, the
the difficulty ranges a ton. Like,
Yeah.
the first one that I went into, I was in the Phantom. I was just giving it a test run, and I only ever saw up to a Basilisk in there. I think I saw like 4 different interceptors come in, then the handful of scouts, obviously. But like it started, there was only one Cyclops, then another one joined. I killed one of the Cyclops, then a Basilisk took that one's place. I killed the other Cyclops and a Basilisk, and then it filled in with 2 more Cyclops. So I never actually saw it get up to Medusa in the first one. I'm not sure if there's like maybe a high intensity and a low intensity, and that's just not labeled yet. But the one thing I will say though, like killing all those scouts and the interceptors in there, you run out of ammo really fast. So I'm wondering if like somewhere down the line, is this gonna like introduce an ammo buff to Gauss, or maybe like introduce engineering to these things? Because as it stands right now, with the ammo we have, we're good enough to kill 2 Cyclops, a handful of scouts, and then we gotta leave and come back.
Yeah, and you want to save this. You know, you naturally want to save the synthesis for like when you're doing solos and such, when you really actually need it.
Yeah, when you're going after something bigger.
Yeah, and I was thinking about how this might alter, like, you could call it the meta for Thargoid hunting, because, you know, early beta, I was really concerned about shield tanks like the Cutter and the Corvette and such, because, you know, the lightning mechanic had been changed so that it just, instead of draining your shields, it just straight out deletes them. It just if they're charging, it takes away all the progress. If they're already up, it just takes them down. So I was worried that ships like the Cutter, which are naturally very good at the AX combat, well, they would be up like not good.
And the Cutter still is. The Cutter's definitely still king.
It still is, but it would lose one of its biggest strengths. And I was considering like if it would be viable again in conflict zones, because you know I was the only ship I had to fight in the conflict zones with. The best ship that I had to use was a Federal assault ship, and it doesn't have that much hull. I think it's just peaking 4K, and it was just I was getting hit with caustic so much, and I was taking so much damage from just the surrounding chaos that I was kind of concerned that kind of ship wouldn't be very viable in there. You made the Phantom work to an extent, didn't you?
Yeah, I basically I stuck in there to see how long I could last until I died.
Right.
I just burned through all my syntheses. I just wanted to see like how long I could last. And that thing, I had 2 class 5 optionals that didn't have any defense on them because I was waiting for HRPs to arrive. I think I was only running with like 1500 hull.
Ooh.
I lasted in there a long time, and what eventually got me was because my hull was so terrible, when I finally did take caustic, overheating myself to burn it off took me down to 2%, and then I flew through another cloud because I just killed a scout in front of me.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is going to be with the bigger ships that we were thinking was were going to be bad. And for those of you that don't know, as of this beta update, the one that included the Thargoid incursions, you both get the Rectile back for the flak launcher, you know, meaning you get that little guide that tells you where you need to shoot if you're going to shoot the swarm. You get that back. That's really awesome. We were concerned about that. And the lightning is restored to its previous state, which means it does not just instantly delete your shields. It actually does damage.
Doing that right now is a glitch where it's the lightning always like reset a certain module, but the 2 that were always protected from the reset were shield and power plant. The problem is it's hitting the power plant now.
Oh,
which it's not supposed to do.
That.
Yeah, that's what's shutting it down instantly.
Well, luckily that does.
Glitch.
Yeah, the shield ships more. So now, and so now I'm thinking that ships like the Cutter may need, and the Corvette and the Conda and such, those big ships may be the best idea for these kinds of incursions, because you can have 4 Gauss, but then you could also have like a few multi-cannons for scouts or something, because you don't want to waste your on the interceptors. You want to have ammo for the scouts or lasers even. Yeah. So I'm kind of considering like what the new kind of build for that would be.
Well, you know what, that actually brings me to something. I don't understand why the AX multis and I don't even know
engineerable
because no one uses them. The AX missiles. I don't get why those 2 weapons count on the 4 AX weapon limit. They are so horribly obsoleted and underpowered at this point. There is no reason for it.
That is true.
Save the
Yeah.
limit for the Guardian weapons if you want to save that limit at all, which I think it's a stupid mechanic in the first place.
You mean save that limit and then say you could, I mean, I'm going to make up a number here. You could have 4 Guardian weapons and 2 AX multi-cannons, for example.
Yeah, see, that would be,
I was thinking more
That's
just
something
only
I
the
was
Guardian
thinking about
weapons.
as well,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to say I was thinking about the same sort of thing. So obviously, when you're in the conflict zones now, you've got a whole bunch of scouts, and you've got the interceptors as well. And though you can take on the scouts with the Guardian weapons, generally you'd want a different set of weapons for the interceptors to what you may want for the scouts. So when you're in the you're limited to hard points, aren't you? And you can only have 4 anti-Xeno weapons.
Yeah, same as cost. So if you have 2
I was kind of thinking it would help to
Guardian.
have 4 Guardian weapons and maybe use anti-AX Aegis weapons on the other hard points.
Yeah, that may be a good idea.
Option at some point.
YamiKs, you got something you want to say about it?
Oh, I got plenty of things. Right, so about the weapons, actually. So just to give a little bit of information now. Back in the LaveCon this year, I did talk with Sandy, and I did ask him this exact question. Do you think that are you not guys feeling that you're spamming the game with weapons right about now, with all the AX weaponry and Guardian stuff? And the answer was no, at least from his side. His justification of putting, AX weapons and so on and so forth in the game was that you can choose to go with weapons that are able to, do damage against everything. Basically Thargoid or human, doesn't matter, or you can pick up human weapons that are, apparently better on the human side and whatnot else. That was his justification, but honestly, it still feels like spamming the game with weapons, and especially now with the Guardian weapons being available rather than AX ones. It certainly does feel like it's just simply spamming the game. And well, the mod, if you have looked at the station UI in outfitting, the menu itself is just a clusterfuck of shit. You can barely fucking understand what's going on there. I mean, there's the meta alloy hull reinforcements being separate from normal hull reinforcements and Guardian hull reinforcements, and even ship reinforcements, for shield reinforcements. And I'm just scratching my head. I mean, who makes these decisions? Are these just spur of the moment sort of additions to the game that really either they don't know how to present or put in place, or even care whether or not the game is really using, or players even using these things?
Can I ask a question, YamiKs?
Go for it.
Just a little, if I can be a little devil's advocate on what you just said, and
perfect.
Almost
go for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and have you clarify something, right? Because you and I generally see very eye to eye.
Go for the question. Come on.
Okay, so the question is, you said something to the effect of spamming the game with weapons, and
Yes.
in a bad way. And I'll admit, part of me kind of scratches my head at that comment, in that how is giving us a lot. I mean, we all complain a lot about content, right? That we don't have any content, we don't have stuff. And believe me, I get the argument that a new weapon isn't quote unquote content because it doesn't change what we do. And so while I would prefer them maybe do other things, maybe that's where you're going. At the same time, I certainly don't see that as any sort of negative, and I'm curious if that's what you meant, and if anybody disagrees with.
Right. Just to clarify this thing. Now, I generally come from an FPS background, Planet Side 2 and whatnot else, because of course YamiKs will bring out the fucking Planet Side 2, right? But anyways, that dead horse is that dead horse. The thing with Elite Dangerous is that we already have weapons that potentially could be upgraded and changed a little bit with engineering. So my question really was, why instead of making a new gun model, which is nice, of course, it's nice that you have a new gun model and whatnot else, but why just not put that AX dealing whatever thingamajig from you know, AX multi-cannons or whatnot else, to actual existing templates of the weapons instead of actually creating another weapon itself. To simply put it, you pick up a multi-cannon, go to an engineer, let's say a new engineer or something like that, and
yes, okay.
And just engineer that if
so
either that new engineer upgrade or just simply a special effect, adding that extra customizability to weaponry. At least that's my perception, and that's why.
I can give an idea as to why. I mean, the last thing we need is more engineering.
I agree. I agree.
Acting as a gatekeeper to this.
So my quick question is only this, YamiKs. Would if the Guardian weapons were either if they did not require unlock at all or such a massive unlock, would you feel the same way? Because I'm definitely with Schwink in that fuck no. One of the questions I wrote for later was to ask, does anybody actually want AX modules to be engineerable? Because I sure the fuck don't. And so
please no.
Please, well, and let's get to that later. Let's not jump topics too badly here. But I guess the question is back to engineering of AX weapons, and I get where you're going, YamiKs, versus new modules. I'm gonna say honestly, I kind of dig the new modules. I like, you know, a new pew pew, a new image, a new thing, something. Just I like new over just engineering what we already have.
I like choices.
When the hell
I'm
are
going
we
to be
kind of
really,
agree.
really honest. I really like choices.
Yeah,
when are we getting AX
agree.
lasers? When is that going to be a thing?
Please.
That's a great question.
Yeah, right.
People were talking about the whole ammo-less anti-Xeno weaponry a little while back on my end.
We clearly need
as well.
it now with these seasons.
Well,
clearly.
Yeah. I just see someone mentioned here in chat that instead of different weapons, why not have alternative ammo, anti-Xeno ammo?
Sure, like a multi-cannon where you would outfit it with
multi-cannon with sauce rounds.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Well, the big issue is that it's a different form of balancing between AX and regular PvE. And as such, I think that's why they make these different weapons, and then they give them these modifiers against Thargoids compared to when you're using them against humans, and they do like next to nothing.
They do decent. Well, let's see. If I remember correctly, the percentage was somewhere around 70 to 50% of what normal weapons do. But of course, since normal weapons can be upgraded with engineering, that is distorted quite notably. So that,
I'm never gonna use that in a fight unless I want to like meme on my opponent, or if I'm out ganking and I know they can't fight back.
Well, no, I mean, about this, the whole spamming, just to quickly go over that. Well, again, right now, we have basically two types of multi-cannons, and, well, one is basically just for one type of gameplay. And that's the thing. Within, rest of the weapons in this game really are just, do it all or can be used at everything. And then we have basically... specialized weapons for this specialized niche gameplay within the game. Yeah, it's nice sometimes for a specific quest in MMOs to have, a unique tool, but for this, again, it's just sort of wasting space in some ways.
I'll be honest with you, YamiKs. This is a complaint that I think is pretty much limited to you and a few people. This isn't a general complaint. This is something that most players are really happy about. We don't mind that they add more guns and more ships. In fact, most of us quite like it. This is one where I'm just going to be like, no, I disagree with you entirely, I'm afraid, YamiKs. Just entirely.
Again, it can be done fine. For me, it's more of a question of why and what was the point, rather than an issue. For me, it's
Can't the point just be that it's cool? But anyway, we're supposed to be talking about CZs.
Yeah, and in fact, YamiKs, if you want to segue this to...
Oh, okay,
if I'm going you to talk about the description of... Yeah, the description, like you wanted to talk about what they, what the kind of behind them is, and we did get a little sidetracked.
Yeah, fair enough, right. So the Thargoid combat zones. Now, generally speaking, if you want some more Thargoid stuff without, jumping from non-human source to non-human source, yeah, they're there and they will work in that extent. But a lot of people, I assume in everyone's chats, are basically calling them a copy-paste of existing combat zones, and really not much in them after that.
Is there any kind of scenario in them, guys?
There is, just like the current one.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the conflict, essentially, the conflict zone has some sort of like a bar that you have to fill to defeat it. Essentially,
Yeah.
And every enemy you defeat, it slowly fills the bar up. You have a progress bar that you can tell how well you're doing. So it gives you feedback, which, as far as I'm concerned, as a player, feedback into what I'm doing is vital, and it's one of the areas it often fails. Yeah.
Sure.
And so having that feedback live in a conflict zone, I'll be honest, that's something that I like about the new conflict zone system.
It's
that's not limited.
kinda off, though. You know, you're
The
fighting.
waves?
You're basic. No, waves is fine. Honestly, I don't mind waves. What
they
a
weren't
lot of people. Well, are they? Well, in any case.
they were not working for me. No.
Oh well, that's bad. Maybe that'll be patched after a year. But anyways, so the thing about the conflict zones mostly is the fact that it's basically just a copy-paste rather than a brand new thing. That's what at least people kind of wanted in some ways when you think about, you know, a conflict zone with Thargoids. Them being, you know, different from human ships with waves, or just a different sort of a way thing. Again, it's extra effort that has to be put in to make, you know, something a bit more different from what you had when even taking a copy. And well, I prefer extra effort, but well, there you go. What we got is what we got.
Yeah.
So, and there was one more point that I wanted to raise, but anyways, I'll let you guys go on. If I remember, I'll go on.
Well, DJ, did you mention you wanted to talk about anti-Xeno?
Yeah,
if I'm right.
I have problems with you people.
Oh.
Why are you stopping my beloved Thargoids from burning the bubble?
Hey, I don't discriminate. I kill anything and everything, okay?
Yeah, but the Thargoids should be
By the way,
allowed
check
to
out
burn the
Gank of the Year
bubble.
voting. It's up right now.
Lol. No, in all seriousness,
Nice.
we need to, but the bubble needs to burn.
Why does the bubble need to burn?
Because the bubble's too big. In all honesty, there's lots of reasons. The biggest one is the bubble is just too large. It dissuades player interaction. 14,000 systems is too large an area to spread the player base over. Condensing them down into a far smaller player base means that you get more player interaction for those that play in open and in private groups that have large numbers, Mobius and the like. That's all good stuff, because stuff that comes from those interactions tends to be some of the best stuff, as with any multiplayer game, right? Some of the best stuff tends to be when you're interacting with other human beings. In my opinion, moving it towards a time when that's more common is a good thing. Secondly, story. Let's be honest, the idea of the bubble being destroyed and us having to run with our tails between our legs and then come back and fight back for it, it's a pretty neat story.
I remember a year ago, before the invasion, saying to a bunch of friends that I hoped we woke up the day of the quote unquote invasion, and that like half the stations in the bubble were destroyed.
This is what I wanted, or like Earth,
right?
Akanar,
like
and Alias were all
exactly.
on the siege.
Some massive, like, real consequences, right? I think that would have been awesome. Hell, even blow my ships up, I would have been fine with.
Well. No, go ahead.
And and the other part of it is that by having holdout systems, you allow players to basically have a truly elite dangerous mode, where the bubble controlled by the Thargoids is genuinely dangerous to go to, and that would be something that would only be an advantage.
So I have to say that, like, I do think that the lore about, like, the universe being a bit in shambles about the Thargoids is pretty cool. But I can just confirm that a lot of us Thargoid hunters just like to hunt for spore. We just have fun. It's an interesting combat that we don't normally see.
And we wonder why that.
But in all seriousness, I don't want to throw AXI under the bus here, but they've been having some problems defending the systems, because the best way to defend a system is to kill scouts, and killing scouts does get very old, because like they have the value of killing a regular Thargoid is, I think, near the same, right, Twinkie, as killing a scout?
Yeah, well,
So,
yeah, it's exactly the same, and also there's a little bit more to this. One, there's 3 systems that get attacked now, one of which has Hydras. That's basically undefendable. And then, 2, for some reason, they, it seems like we're only actually able to save 1 now, because there's been, I think, 1 or 2 weeks, maybe even more, I haven't really looked into it, where the system that was saved was actually the one that had less kills than the other one.
Yeah. And they're
So
adding
it seems
more
like we're getting
scouts
God-handed a little bit here.
There are like, wasn't there like, you have to kill, the number of scouts you have to kill every single time is getting bigger? Is that true?
Yeah, it's... exactly.
The grind.
Oh, God.
Well, I think you'll get your wish. I think you're gonna get your wish, DJ, because we are starting to struggle. It's not that we're not like capable. It's just that a lot of us don't want to. Really, the scouts are getting kind of boring to fight.
I think we actually are incapable. Like I said, it feels like we're getting God-handed here. There's been, like I said, we've defended the system that we defended less than the other one. And then the more heavily defended system is the one that burns. Why? What's happening here?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this new incursion state will start to give us some more ideas about how this will work.
Yeah, hopefully that bar actually directly relates to that.
Schwig, do you think that they're giving us a hand, or they're purposely burning the system?
I think they're purposely burning. Yeah. They're trying to. I think the problem was, like, we had gotten.
They're trying to make it fit.
It. Yeah. That they had to turn the gears a little bit themselves.
I think it'll become a bit clearer regarding that when we get the incursions onto the live servers, because it's once we start seeing how easy or how difficult it is to actually repel the incursion. Same deal with the stations. What sort of level are they going to set the station repairs to? If they set it too high, then if they do that, it's
already high
pretty
as
obvious. Exactly. So if they started making incursions and they're happening more regularly in more systems, and they leave it at that sort of level or thereabouts, then it's pretty obvious that they don't want the stations repaired, or at least too many of them. Because otherwise, surely they'd set it lower. At this point, they know what the threshold is that people are willing to get involved in to get those stations actually fixed. So if they keep those numbers at that sort of level, it seems pretty obvious that they want those stations to remain out of commission. And my thoughts would be the same with the incursion as well. If it becomes too difficult to repel the incursions because you need to kill too many of the Thargoids, then Frontier obviously want to keep that system in incursion. I mean, it was quite telling, because on the patch notes, they actually mentions that the state of incursion is indefinite unless it's physically repelled. It doesn't actually time out. So, you know, that's quite...
So once it goes into incursion, we have to take it out of that, is what you're saying?
Yes, and if we don't... Yeah,
and it's definitely how you do it.
So basically on the first week, what happens is that the system will go into incursion if the initial attack isn't repelled. So that's a change in the BGS background state, and that will affect all the factions within that star system, and you'll get these new conflict zones crop up, which are the anti-Xeno conflict zones. There'll be a bunch of non-human signal sources around. All the megaships within that system will become damaged, and on the first week, one of the star pools, the main star pools, will also become damaged. You can repair that, but on the second week, if the invasion isn't repaired, or repelled, a second star pool will actually become damaged. So my question is how difficult is it going to be to repel them? Yeah.
Well,
I think after a few weeks we'll start getting a bit of a feel for whether Frontier actually want us to fully repel all of them, or whether they want at least part of the bubble to burn.
I think it's going to be like a triage situation. We're just gonna have to pick and choose our battles and what systems we want to let burn.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's going to devolve to.
I have a feeling
I've kind of hoped that would... Oh, sorry, Obsidian.
No, let's go for it.
I've always kind of hoped that would be the way that it would go, that it would come down to tactical choices. We aren't going to hold everything. We have to try and select what we defend. And I don't think it's as simple as Frontier will God hand us into like, they're not going to God hand us into the bubble burning. I don't think they'll do that. I think that a certain amount of control will remain in our hands. But I do think that it's going to be super difficult.
Yeah, I think that's what I think was always the plan from the beginning, was that they wanted certain systems to burn, just to, like, at least give the appearance that it's all going wrong and we can only defend so much. But that is going to be it from me. I gotta start heading to work now. Thanks for having me on, guys.
No,
and
Thanks for coming, Swinky.
Really appreciate it.
have a good one.
Hey, man.
See you soon.
Schwenke.
So, kind of segueing into our next subject, kind of tying with this too, is with these incursions and with these BGS states that will indefinitely stay unless we defend them. I think that it's real. I think that the correlation here is, and I checked with these new Thargoid conflict zones, the Thargoids you kill in there count for the BGS, so you don't have to jump in on a threat 4 or something, which is where you will see quite a few scouts, or occasionally a threat 5 you'll see scouts. So what I'm kind of interested in is seeing how the conflict zones will affect the BGS, because it's a much more accessible thing. People can go there in a group and kill a bunch of scouts, and then have an interceptor there really for fun, because they don't really help the BGS that much. So I'm kind of interested in seeing how like with AXI, people are just saying, okay, please go kill this number of scouts, okay, and we'll hope that defends the system. But then, you know, I was the conflict zone that I was staying in for probably like 30 minutes with some guys from Sinbad, was only scouts, and we were killing quite a bunch of them, and there were NPCs there, so it was pretty easy. As long as you get a shot on one, it would count. So I'm pretty excited to see if this will help us defend those systems. These conflict zones will actually be to our benefit. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I'm kind of wondering a little bit with the conflict zones. I mean, obviously now we're going to get a visual indicator of the sort of progress we're making against the Thargoids. Earlier on, you were saying about how when a star system is sort of indicated for Thargoid invasion, you can repel or fight off some of the scouts there, but it's very hard because you don't know what sort of progress you're making. But now in the conflict zones, we've got that progress bar.
Yeah.
As we're talking, I'm just wondering, is that progress bar unique for each conflict zone, or is it shared?
I don't know.
Because
I actually don't know.
Such little progress made at the moment. I certainly haven't been able to tell. I just wondering if anyone else has noticed that.
Well, I don't know that we can use your systems yet, because it's in the beta. I'm not sure if they're going to have it so that you can repel, that you can stop the incursion, because maybe they want people to come try it out. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that it would be for the system in total, or maybe that it counts for each conflict zone, and then them as a total will be what you how much you defended, like how many scouts you killed. So.
Yeah, it's just a little bit unsure at the moment exactly how that works. I don't know how many players are in beta, and maybe it's because it's balanced that way for a lot more players, and there's not enough players actually in that system at the moment to get that progress bar pushed up.
I would think that, yeah, that they would not give us like the actual like numbers in the actual system until it's kind of figured out and all players have gotten their input on. Because it is still the beta. This is all subject to change. Isn't it like, would you say like this stuff is mostly what's going to go into the update, but that there
it's
could
subject
be some
to be tweaking, basically, at best.
Yes, yeah, tweaking, yeah. So, yeah, I think that these conflict zones will in total be good for defending systems. It's just like a way to do more kills, really, and then have interceptors for fun, really.
I think it makes the Thargoid invasion feel a little bit more alive. I did have a question about the waves. How many conflict zones have you actually fought in so far? And have you had much of a go yet, or you haven't had a chance to?
I was switching out between a few. I'd say I've been, maybe. I don't know how to count it because I went to some and their spawns changed. I was in one where there was several interceptors and some scouts. I was in the one, obviously it was just a Hydra and then scouts eventually.
Is it more than 10?
10 scouts?
No, 10 conflict zones.
was kind of hard. I had to. There were not that many in the system, so no.
Man, education must suck at your place. Counting to 10. I mean, holy crap.
Where's that? I did not see that
He's
many.
insulting you again.
Well, no.
I love that he gets the jab in at American education too.
You know, I just can't go without saying that. You know
Hey,
me.
love
Well,
it.
what I wanted to ask was the nature of the waves there, because I've only fought in so many at the moment. Every time I drop into the first conflict zone, aside from the time when we did it together, and I've dropped in solo, so it's a fresh conflict zone instance, and it always starts out with these scouts.
Yeah, naturally, yeah.
Interceptor turns up a little bit later, but it's not always the same variant of Interceptor, is it? That turns up first? Because every time I've always seen the Cyclops first.
Well, yeah, because the conflict, one of the conflicts I was fighting in was, you know, it was just scouts. You know, scouts, 10 scouts, 20 scouts. They show up about 10 minutes later. I'm with my friends, and then we're like, okay, cool, something big is dropping in. Oh crap, it's a Hydra. So I honestly can't tell how the waves are set up. I don't know the chances that you'll get a certain kind. I would assume they would start with Cyclops, but I just was not seeing that. I was seeing a Medusa on like the second, or a Medusa on like the first one, or a Basilisk on the second one. It doesn't seem that defined right now.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I just note that Pan Piper, you got some thoughts on that?
Yeah, I did have one week. Sorry, that's better. Did have one experience. I multi-crewed over to one of the cannon guys, and he just invited me in to go and visit what's going on over there. And I was all hoping to see what he was like. It was a lot nicer. One thing I did clock is, especially when I was looking for probes earlier with the changes, and it used to be you could just cruise around and wait for the right one to pop up. But then when you got all the NHS at once, sometimes you have to travel half across the system. So in the basic thing, sometimes you might have to be running a long way chasing scouts. So having these conflict zones can be good. So you can just go in there without having to look for another signal source. And now you might have to travel to the next planet to find that. So it's good in that respect.
I completely agree. Like for instance,
another thing, there is some high and low variants. I'm sure there will, but they may be at a threat level later, or maybe it's random. Whereas I visited with Mullen Reich, and I wanted to see some of the interceptors there. You had 4 or 5 NPC ships, which is nice, and they were sticking around. So you had a bit of a more sustained fight rather than many small instances. But then we just had endless scouts, about 7 or 8 waves, killed all of them. The more scouts didn't get an interceptor while I was there, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, so maybe it is a value for the conflict zones. It'll be like a threat 3 conflict zone or a threat 7 conflict zone where you will get that level, and maybe there's just scattered on the system like that. And I'm interested in what you said about the non-human signal sources, because like I've been trying to do some solos in the new ships recently, and it seemed like there were less signal sources for Thargoids. I was seeing so many distress calls and convoy dispersal patterns. I was having a very hard time with this new threat signal sources, so I wonder if this is just a general balance change that you need to go to this place to almost exclusively kill scouts. Like, this is, maybe they're just saying, okay, this is where you're going to do all combat. So, and they're convenient, because the one that Obsidian and I went to, it was right next to the station, your station, right? Very close, like 3-something megameters.
Yep, that's it. Yep, right nearby.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I feel like this is
in the planet.
Yeah. So I feel like, I think you're right. I think that they are kind of optimizing this for the BGS state.
The other thing I was thinking with the waves, if at some point it, depending on how long stay in there, and I'd imagine really it's going to be a case of needing at least 1 wing in there, probably multiple wings, to keep the fight going in there. But I'm wondering if at some point you'll get the Federation or Imperial capital ships drop in.
That would be, well, that would have to require some changes on their end, as we know that those ships don't tend to work out very well against the Thargoids.
No, but there was a screenshot that Frontier posted on Twitter with one of those ships damaged, and I was wondering if that was in one of the new conflict zones or just a signal source.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, because, you know, they have massive guns, and those massive guns do work against the scouts. Maybe they would make it so that you have mega ships that are completely oriented towards anti-Xeno. I would be excited to see that, because maybe they actually have a functioning shutdown field neutralizer this time, because supposedly the regular ones we have are not like enough, or they don't like have enough of the power to stop the shutdown, and that's like the main reason they say they're dying. So yeah, I'd be very interested to see some mega ships, maybe capital ships, maybe some form of new mega ship jumping in those conflict zones. I was not able to stay long enough to see that happen because my fast kept dying.
Probably it's gonna be another megaship interaction thing that they've been. Oh, scenario, right? Scenario that they'll be putting out. You know, probably. I'm just guessing here.
Yeah. I would think so. I would think so.
Exegius, you got something to?
Yeah.
No. Skip me for a little bit. Actually, I'll put me back down in the queue before we change, because I've kind of. Well, actually, yeah. Skip me for now. I was going to set YamiKs up with something, but he doesn't need it. We're just going to talk. YamiKs, do you still want to talk about credits?
Right. So of course, when we're talking about when we're talking about the Thargoids, then of course the pay is another topic that tends to pop up. So for our solo friend here for now, my question would be, what do you guys in AXI think of the credit reward for I'd say the most difficult PvE sort of thing in the game?
Well, like you were calling it the most difficult, because it is getting kind of like repetitive now, and like it's starting to feel easier. But I whenever I'm like, hey, you want to try out anti-Xeno? They're like, yeah. What's the pay? I'm like, the life of a Xeno hunter is not a profitable one, because in the time that
actually is a negative one if you're shit.
Yeah, it really is, because like if you got the cutter, you 30-something million rebuy, and if you die to one of the Cyclops, you're losing that. And the thing with me is that I'm spending so much money on transfer costs that is not being made up from Cyclops, because I get what, 2 million per Cyclops, and I'm not sure what my number is. I've been told by FDev in a ticket that I had to submit over something else, but I had a side question. They told me I had killed over 200. My credit balance, and I'm gonna get
That's 200 intercepts.
Up here. My credit balance in the actual game is 100 million, because I spend all my money on the ships, and I just barely keep enough money so that I can have 1 or 2 rebuys, and then that's it. And then I have to go back and grind, because I just cannot stand the grind. So for us at AXI and all Xeno hunters out there, I can confirm no one is satisfied with the rank or the pay from interceptors, from scouts to rank, obviously.
Well, and let's be more generic there. Nobody that's on this channel right here is happy with the balance of pay. Really across the board. I mean, this is nothing new, sadly.
With combat,
that would be a whole rant for me,
combat.
But
exactly.
Yeah.
Me too.
Guys, I don't have the voice for that today, so folks, sorry to disappoint, sort of.
But yeah, this is literally a problem that's indicative across the board with combat. Combat pay is massive.
I would say pay, period, but combat pay, an order of magnitude. Right.
I think if everything was balanced up to the sort of money you can make from things like cargo trade missions, things like passenger missions, things like exploration, you're gonna start to see a far more balanced style of play from different people. You'll see people doing things that they're just not doing at the moment. Why am I going to go and do combat
if all
against
of a sudden
NPCs, which isn't, let's be honest, NPCs are never going to be as much fun as fighting a human. You go and do combat against NPCs, and then you find out that your mate, who is puttering around in his fucking anaconda with no shields, has earned 5 times as much as you, and that geezer that you gave some advice to and bought a discovery scanner in his Sidewinder has gone out and made more money than you have in a fucking Sidewinder.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone here is pointing out that increasing the earnings would take away the risk, but I don't agree with that, because
the fuck are you talking about?
Here's what I have to say.
There's risk, and then there's pretty much kicking
there's
in the
absurdity.
guts, and then still kicking you,
It is difficult to make any profit from like it's very difficult to make profit from fighting Xenos. In reality, you're spending money to do it. To fight the Thargoids.
Well, and we also haven't had, it's been months since we've had a big gold rush. I think this is one of the longest dry spells I've seen in the game in the last couple of years. Can you guys think of one that lasted this long?
I mean, Rodrigo is still working just fine, and dandy,
yeah, but
that's 100 plus million.
It is, but I mean something that's like a big gold rush, like 200, 300
million.
The
volley boom.
Credits.
Oh, the 400
ones.
Plus, that one.
Exactly,
awesome.
The big giant ones, right? We haven't had one like that to stockpile credits with, for a long time.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to become fewer and fewer between, especially with the board changes. I mean,
sadly, I think you're right.
Just in beta, everyone knows I'm not particularly brilliant at the combat, but even still, I can hold a fight. But
you were holding off in that conflict zone.
Not too bad, eh?
You were getting stuff done.
A couple of hours in the conflict zones, the Thargoids, and I've spent about 200 million in rebuys.
200? Holy shit!
Yeah.
What the fuck were you flying?
I was flying because it's beta. I just outfit the maximum on it, so it's like 40 million rebuy on it.
Oh my god! What'd you say it was, Cutter or Vet?
It's a Corvette.
Corvette. Okay, gotcha. That's great. And so we all could rant about credits. The rest of the day easily, right? And that was kind of where I was going to lead TheYamiks. Were you done, TheYamiks? Am I cutting you off?
Well, actually, as a little exercise of I guess speculation. Well, not really speculation. Actually, being fair and I guess doing something that some people apparently accuse me of not doing, and that's suggesting some sort of a solution. So, of course, I have my own perception as to how much things should reward and what else. But what I wanted to sort of ask for our Xeno friend here, or anti-Xeno friend here, is what do you think would be let's say a fair amount of credits to be earning for killing Thargoids?
Yeah. So
solo.
So the person
let's go with simple. Let's go in with solo instead of wing.
Okay. Sure. And so the person whoever was saying it's if you make the pay increase, you're not balancing the system, because then you've got these guys who are going out there in Sideblinders and just doing it over and over, like Exigeous, like our guy Exigeous here. But honestly, if you're when I was first trying to start solo Basilisk, I was on my Cutter. I left those fights all the time, and I got no pay, so I didn't always lose the fights. But then the thing is that if you increase them, then it's going to be more. You're going to try harder to go do it, and honestly, I see no problem with that. I feel like sure, go do some passenger run and make a lot of money, but hey, then go try this thing that's fun, the major gameplay thing that that Elite is trying to encourage right now. Hey, go fight Thargoids. They're cool. Make it profitable so that people actually want to go do it. I know a lot of people say, when I tell them, oh, it's just you just kill Thargoids for fun. Really, it's ultimately for fun right now because of the.
For me, it would be like if you're badass enough to kill a fucking Thargoid Interceptor, the big death flower, with a fucking Sidewinder, or better yet, Hauler, you deserve you deserve it. Yes.
Yeah. So I honestly think it's not fair. And lore-wise, it doesn't make any sense. If I don't know what's going on with Aegis right now. Aegis seems like a mess right now. But honestly, I feel like we have these guys who are going out here and killing Thargoid after Thargoid after Thargoid of these higher variants. Someone killed a Hydra in a Vulture recently. These guys that are defending really humanity, and this kind of ties in with
Wait, DJ. Killed what with a Vulture?
Hydra.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That's impressive.
A Hydra in general. A
Hydra and a Vulture. That's pretty. How long did it take him?
Over an hour.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
I couldn't do that.
I don't get the lore is that these guys are your only defense right now. Aegis is job. Like what their AX multi-cannons, the AX multi-cannon, the best thing they have. Not doing it would not defend us. If we did not have glass cannons, I would reckon
we're gonna go with Zab Brannigan's approach and just toss troops after troops on them until they reach their kill count maximum, and then shut down. Right? Let's do that.
Can I jump in here?
It sickens me.
Yeah.
A genuine question. If a group of us get together and start suiciding into the Thargoids repeatedly, does that mean that, like, it does stuff for helping them win?
No.
Fuck. Why not Frontier?
It's Frontier, DJ.
We can't wind the Thargoids.
I want what I want to do is quite literally just like, because unfortunately the truth is there is no way to help the Thargoids.
I mean, you can go gank people.
Well, that's not really. That's not.
You can go kill people.
Kill me.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's in all honesty, like it won't do it.
What you're saying, DJ, is to speed up their invasion. Yeah.
Yeah.
1 second.
I want to quite literally assist the Thargoid invasion. I want the bubble to burn. That's what I want. And as a player, I want to be able. I want those actions to be able to, like my actions in game, to reflect that, and I can't.
That's fair.
And that is one of the very few things about this, especially this new system. I love it, yeah? The Thargoid incursions, the fact that it is genuinely a way for them to start burning the bubble, and all of that sort of thing. Adore it. But please, Frontier, let me help. Give me some Molotovs. Give me some petrol and a lighter, and I'll set fire to everything. It's fine.
Oh, wow.
Hey, drop it, you know what? Drop into one of the new conflict zones, or whatever they're called, and fight on the Thargoid side.
They'll attack you still, but...
No, I get that you can't do that, because they'll still attack you, and I'm fine with that, let me make it clear, yeah? I am okay with the fact that you can't ally with the Thargoids. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm looking at it more from the point of view of, like, from a sort of roleplay lore-y perspective of a Doomsday cult, yeah?
I think it's an interesting question. I'd be excited to see how that would turn out. I'd like some more play.
From that perspective, actually, you know, it's nice that we definitely know how we can actually be friends with Thargoids, you know. And I'm not totally asking this because I want to fuck a Thargoid, but well, there's other reasons, right? But no, seriously though, I'm still rather perplexed in some ways that Frontier really hasn't shown or even talked about the fact that you could potentially be, you know, friendly to a Thargoid and what else. They really haven't followed up on their promise, which, I mean, okay, fine, come out and say that, okay, we just can't make it work, and, you know, for gameplay reasons we're gonna go for just fighting them. At least admit to that fucking shit, not leave us hanging and wondering what the fuck are you cooking up. That's at least my take on it, because it really bugs me when you know, you're basically promising things and then just sort of forgetting, quote unquote, to mention that we forgot. we forgot to tell you that you're not going to be able to do that.
So, Pin Pepper, you were mentioning Thargoids might be adapting.
Well, have you noticed that we were given them? We were given 3 targets on many occasions with the EE, and some of them I noticed when there's a player faction were faced with an impossible situation where literally everything was just pure Hydra, and everyone kind of shied away. Well, we can maybe stick around and get the odd scouts too. It's far easier to go and defend the other ones where it's just scouts and a few things. So the way Thargoids seem to work, I mean, I'm sure they can react, but it takes them time to adapt and move things and probably even grow their ships. So over time, maybe they're learning what works and what fails. If you're a general and you're leading an army, if they're queen is or whatever they are, then you'll learn that these attacks are not working, that's not working. If you have specific targets, you might even start throwing distraction targets in there. Lure their AX defense off. Throw it in a little outpost there, make it easy, they'll all run to there, and then throw all the Hydras in, what we want, and we don't really know yet, but they do seem to adapt. No doubt we'll probably end up seeing a new Thargoid variant or sooner or later.
Because power creep is real, right? But no, actually, I still remember back in the day with the AX weapons and so on and so forth. In Galnet News, I think they even announced the Thargoids are adapting and whatnot else. So
To the missiles, right?
yeah, to
That's
me,
the one,
that's
yeah.
no
Would make
news,
sense.
really. Oh well, maybe it's just, you know, me remembering things. But there you go.
Well, it does depend. I mean, maybe after the update we'll turn around with our what we think are the best weapons, and we find something that they've built which is impervious, and they've learned a bit about us. We'll have to adapt. I'm sure we can adapt quicker a lot than they can grow, really. So we might end up in a war where we're having to adapt to keep up with them and keep the upper hand. Sooner or later, as you were saying, we're struggling in some points. They might realise they're winning in those points and start adapting those tactics more so.
What I'm hearing from you is right now, let's take Ramta, strapping in a dungeon bitch's outfit and whip him until he comes up with a better weapon, right? Is that what you're insinuating here? Oh, come on! I was ready already. Damn it.
How to talk to them. We've got many situations. We're told we've got to attack them because they're the bad guys, and who's the bad guys, really?
Oh, okay. So basically you're insinuating a Kirk maneuver. Okay, I have some information on that too. Perfect.
Well, so do I. But there was observed behaviours in the previous one where people somehow got friendly with them. Now, there even is Guardian thing saying they did establish a way to talk. They didn't want to talk though, because, well, look at the Guardians. You read them and they're quite obnoxious. We're the gods of the galaxy. We built everything. Oh, bugger, what's this? Thargoids turned up. We'll talk to them. They don't want to listen to our rhetoric with our religious war and our technophobes and our people who are adapting to techs and their AI fleets. They're having a war of their own. They didn't want to listen to the Thargoids, so maybe we can. I mean, if you've got an alien species, they don't want to look and talk to us unless we have something they want or there's some co-symbiont relationship. I still don't think it's all out war.
Didn't Guardians just simply didn't or weren't able to decode their language?
No, they didn't respond. The Thargoids just never responded.
Oh, okay.
There was some established communication, was they had glyphs. Only used by certain parts of the Guardians, so
gotcha.
They probably fell out, but
this is a perfect sort of segue into what I was wanting to say about, which is how this plays into the lore that we know of the Thargoids. I've always found it, first things first, I've always found it amusing that people think that we can be friends with the Thargoids. I would have had serious problem with it if that was possible. Other alien species that we may come into contact utterly, like we should be able to make friends or enemies with, depending on you know, largely player actions. I think that's a sensible way to do that.
What developers said, yes.
The Thargoids, that should never be the case with.
But I want to fuck a Thargoid.
Well, for multiple reasons. First of all, like, within lore, humans ate Thargoids.
Tasty.
To the point that we had a special sauce for cooking Thargoid in.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
you got to send the link for that recipe.
We attempted to commit genocide upon their entire species. Now, that was a defensive act. Yes, they were undeniably attacking us. Yeah? But we attempted to commit genocide upon their entire species. They have been studying us, and this is all catalogued in lore. They have been studying us since we attempted to commit genocide upon them. They have been literally capturing humans and pumping them full of drugs. And they have worked with certain humans. They've realised that humans will do anything for material gain. And they have worked with that. And they've worked with humans, and they have captured people, and they've forced them into combat against each other to study our tactics. It is stated that this is the first time in thousands of years that the Thargoids have had to change their tactics, because against every other enemy they have ever encountered, they have been victorious. And
just
they
for
have
reference
wiped
point, DJ, which book are you talking about?
Multiple. For the Thargoid, the fact that we ate Thargoids, please see Kate Russell's Mostly Harmless. For the information about Thargoids working with humans, you want to read Out of the Darkness. for which other bits? No, I think that covers those main bits. Out of the Darkness is probably the best example of lore about the Thargoids.
But basically, not in the game, so I calls it a bad story.
No, they're officially they're officially licensed products. Yeah, Frontier has never. Yeah, they are canon, and these are books that Frontier have always wanted to build Elite out as more than just a game. Yeah, it is multimedia. The books.
I call that a visual thinking, but okay.
Well, the books are part of that approach. Now, the honest truth is that the Thargoids have, in their history, annihilated every single species they've ever come into contact with the exception of the Guardians. Although one rather suspects that's essentially because the Guardians did for themselves. Basically, the Thargoids, as far as I can work out, are the answer to the Fermi paradox in the Elite Dangerous Galaxy. Why is it so damn quiet? Where are all the aliens?
Right.
Yeah, they are everywhere.
Especially with the number of habitable planets within the Elite Dangerous Galaxy. The likelihood is that a huge number of species would have come about yeah, and yet there's none. In fact, the only species that we may or there not have.
Well, I'd say, or there would be remnants of another, like
more
real,
than just the Guardians.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
more than right. And you know, we'd find the only species that we've had any contact with are the Thargoids themselves, and the possibility of the species on Achenar, although Frontier have always played that kind of close to their chest.
Actually, DJ, have you listened to the Codex?
No, I haven't.
It feels like you haven't, because I did, and they
I've been
did mention it.
Live.
They did mention it in the Codex. Yes, I did listen.
Which way did they go with in the Codex?
Primitives that apparently had some sort of young semblance of language, or kind of a language, but not more than that.
Yeah, because when I interviewed
savages, basically they called it.
But when I interviewed Michael Brooks about this, it's interesting that they seem to be leaning that way now, and I want them to, because it makes the Empire evil, which is good. Yeah, the Empire should have that side to them.
But come on, Empire's fabulous.
But how
could they be evil?
When I asked Michael Brooks about it, he stated that the Federation have always claimed that it was sapient life. The Empire maintained that they weren't sapient. It was like wiping out a species of orangutan or cow, which unfortunately in the history of Elite Dangerous has happened again and again on basically every planet that humanity has occupied. So, speaking of life though, we're starting to find life in space, aren't we?
That's right.
Yeah.
We already did. I mean, come on. Brain trees.
That segue. Wow, that could have been like late night television segue.
Thank you very much.
I'm impressed. That was a good one there, buddy. I like it.
So the Thargoids, and well, I was going to say Guardians, but they've sort of vanished, haven't they? We've got the Sentinels, but they're not really organic. The only other life we found so far, really, sentient life anyway, other than humans, have been the Thargoids, but that's seems to be changing a little bit now.
Can I just? I have to do this every time I hear someone do that, because
I mean in the game. I mean in the game in terms rather than lore.
Yeah, no. Sentient. A dog is sentient. A human is sapient.
Yeah, but we haven't seen any other sentient life, have we, either?
Well, within lore, lots, yes. Not in space, no. But within lore.
I mean in the game.
Oh, yeah. Okay, right. Sorry, I apologise, and I will now shut up.
We found things growing on planets and
right,
barnacles and trees and
exactly. How do you know that they are not?
Well, they might be. Yeah.
Exactly.
They're not what we would class as sentient. We know what we mean.
Hey, listen. Alliance investigates them, right? Let's be honest. Alliance investigates them. So, what are the chances that Alliance actually realizes that something is right, or how to count, or how to build a ship, or anything else? I mean, seriously, it's fucking Alliance, for crying out loud.
Ouch.
Yeah. But then, so yeah, that's changing. We're starting to see other life out there now. And that leads us into the next topic that we want to talk about, which is the Lagrange clouds. I keep pronouncing that one wrong.
Lagrange
clouds, that's the one. And the other life forms that we're finding within there. We've got a couple of people from Canon Research mentioned at the start of the live stream here. We've got Guru and Panpiper.
Hey.
Hello there. Can come
Welcome,
and
guys.
talk a little bit about that. So, be back from my mic there. Sorry about that. So we've got I think two different approaches to or two different sides of the discussion we can have with the alien life. We start with the new clouds and the new things that have been found out there. I think something else has been found today, and then perhaps a little bit later on we'll talk about the new exploration tools and what that might mean, and the codex as well, and what that means for Canon and other players. But yeah, let's start with the new life forms. On my live stream right now, we just saw one of the I think some people are calling them mushrooms, other people are calling them jellyfish. That was found yesterday, and I think something has been found today. Pan Piper was mentioning that a little bit early on. What was that?
Is that what I went and looked at, Pan? What you sent me to?
No, that is actually that's the one that was found this morning. Well, let's talk about Lagrange clouds. These I've been looking around. We've had life in other things, like you said earlier, Obsidian on the planets. We've had the bark mounds which showed up. We've had pumpkins and the brain trees, and also recently we saw that thing right back from 2.1. I think we first saw it. Those tubers with the new exploration mechanics. We'd found these on there.
Finally, right?
Finally, yeah. We had the tools to find them. They've probably been there right since there, but who would have known to look there on that planet in the middle of nowhere? So these exploration tools are great for finding new stuff. And people saying it's too easy, but no, it's understanding the mechanics beyond that. You're saying you can't find a volcano in the entire galaxy? Well, yeah, it's finding the important ones. But now we've also got these Lagrange clouds, and I've been investigating the planet-based stuff until I really looked at that. They've been mainly started in the Temple region, where I noticed that people have found these curious seeds and trees, and it really got me curious. So after testing a lot of beta, I flew on out there and eventually got there. It's 12,000 light years away. There's still a phenomena, do seem to be popping up now and again, but I don't know if that's changed or not. For the earlier beta, we only found them in the Temple region, but until the other day, yesterday, I believe, after the update on the Thursday, we had found Lagrange clouds appearing elsewhere. So with the Temple region, we found these seeds and the trees, which are kind of curious, and the metal crystals there in space. Lagrange clouds do seem to be like a little oasis in space, almost a nice, ripe, stable orbit where things will accumulate, even materials. They vary between really beautifully coloured. It's almost like a mini nebula in system. You're not looking at the whole thing with
I think that was the idea of making them.
But each one's unique, different coloured. You get them right next to the star on the Lagrange points of the planet, sometimes right in gas giant rings, and they're quite unique. You'll see a lot of things familiar, and you're thinking one's the same as the other, but then the seeds were curious, and they were not researchable, but then the research limpets on the last update got fixed, so they are also sampleable. So we can take samples from these tissue samples and other things, and we'll have to see what comes of that and who asks for them. So until the other day, I thought that was it. We got trees as the first little toy they threw at us. And since Thursday, when they had the little update, I noticed that the clouds are being reported over in Colonia, and that's where we come along to the mushroom jellyfish things. They're the strangest things I've ever seen. Now people were still talking about the odd Lagrange clouds and running off to Maya to discuss the combat mechanics over there, Thargoid incursions, and I pulled up there expecting to either see more tree seeds and such, thinking more of the same copy-paste, but oh my god, I was gobsmacked there, looking at something I didn't comprehend, trying to take photos of it, post it to everyone and explain it to them, and it really took off from there. And, yeah, and that's the strangest thing. while I was doing those photos and trying to describe it, it had moved and changed, which I found really disconcerting. Suddenly it's looking at me, and that was the freakiest thing. It seemed to respond to light. Now, I'd heard the tree seeds had responded to light. You turn your lights on them and they boosted away, a bit like a little fart out, and they pushed themselves out of the light. And a lot of them were in dark areas. Now, this latest one was the strangest. This behaved totally differently. And it wasn't until about the second sight. I knew it was did something and it was looking at me, but then I noticed others when I found some near right next to the sun. Beautiful deep red clouds blocking out the sun with distortions, and it's kind of dark in there, and all these things were almost like synchronized in unison looking towards the sun, and it's like a solar powered cell or something.
Star.
And it was, they did like the light. It may be even some biological solar cell. I noticed behind you shine your lights on them, it lights up. You shine it on the front, and there's near zero reflection, just a bit of what do you call it?
Pearlescent colours.
Refraction of light.
Well, it absorbs it.
So it does seem like a biological solar cell, but some jellyfish type thing. There's a nutrient-rich environment, and they are like oases. And this was a different region. I wasn't expecting that. Was the biggest thing. No copy-paste. Maybe there's things unique to each region. And then this morning, I did hear, I think it was Commander G. Bison. You'd heard of the clouds out there, 800 light years from the bubble. Now this is a different region in Orion Spur, and what is described as a squid. I've only briefly seen it, and I think one of our guys here with us now is headed out to there. And they apparently don't respond to light, but they respond to proximity. You move near them and they boost away from you. So really, I think Guru, I'll jump over to him because I'm sure he's got a lot to say. After I had to log off there, I mean, I called him over there and he was eager to jump on and investigate the jellyfish ones we have at Colonia, and I think he's got some fantastic footage out there and found out a lot more than I have, though. So I'll let you go over to him now.
Hey. Yeah, these things are real interesting. It's a lot of people were kind of bashing on the name jellyfish and demanding that they are mushrooms, which they no doubt seem to be. It's what am I trying to get at here? It's interesting because if you look at all the different life forms in the game in terms of your organics and stuff, these are all fungal based. So you're like your space pumpkins are fungal gourds, your brain trees are fungal trees. And now you have these things. So there's clearly some sort of fascination by FDev with fungal life, which is kind of interesting. And a lot of people are speculating that maybe this is like the next Thargoid war or something. And really, I just don't at this point see them as being a threat of any sort. They just seem to be something of interest. Although we just don't really know what that interest is yet. It is interesting though, because fungus are actually more like they're more related to plants than they are to more related to animals than plants. So they're kind of their own little kingdom of species.
Yeah, this is where FDev brought in the xenobiologist chap to make sure that stuff like that was, you know, as accurate as they could make it.
Oh, that's
right?
cool. Yeah, they did do that.
Yeah, they brought in a guy to read. Well, it's like when they created the algorithm for the Stellar Forge to create the galaxy, they worked with scientists to create that algorithm to sort of create the galaxy, and that
sure.
is where that's how it led to the situation where like the system that they turned into TRAPPIST was like what 7 light years away or whatever. It was something stupid, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah, it had the right number of planets in it as well, didn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right number of star, right number of planets, right location.
More or less right position as well.
Yeah, pretty freaky.
Well, that's because they based it all on the weight of the galaxy.
Oh, well, yeah, no, exactly.
We know what the galaxy weighs.
Very
so
cool.
They can work it all out roughly. It's stunning. Like, and it's stuff like that that you can't help but adore about Frontier and about Elite, right?
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
No, I agree with that.
Well, yeah. No, please, Anne, go ahead.
Go on, Exeges. That's fine.
Well, I mean, I guess all I was going to say, mine's pretty minor here because I haven't gotten to see all these things yet. But I'm going to go with something. I might even, Yamik said he had to go AFK for 5. So maybe actually probably more than maybe I'm stealing his thunder a bit, which is, why is this shit in beta? I mean, I get from the one stand, I get the answer of we need to test things, and okay, I guess I get that, but it seems like, if I'm blunt, it seems like given how bad they are at testing anyway, that if you're gonna not test some things, these are the things to not test, right? Like, let these be the exciting things that happen day one, right? I mean, you know, for us, maybe we think of this as day one in a way because we're also obsessed. We're playing beta like crazy, but I know the poll that I put up about beta, not that many people overall are playing beta.
Yeah, and very, so very low numbers.
Yeah, right. And so because of that, now essentially by the time everybody gets to it, and I guess you could also argue that stuff's going to probably get spoiled day one. I guess I wouldn't say that with this kind of stuff, but it just seems like, why put this in the game now? Why not let this be something that we're all excited about that we find out when things launch?
My God, Exigius is saying what I was thinking.
Oh, I said, Yamix, when you walked away, Yamix, I said, I guarantee you Yamix agrees with this.
Oh, this is absolute.
There's two ways of looking at this. They're either that, as you said, Exigius, they just want to make sure they get it all tested and make sure that it works.
And that's fair.
Alternatively, which I think is actually the case, they're just showing us a small portion of the other things that they've actually got in store. Now,
rarely this is the case.
Yeah. Can I jump in here?
I know it's rarely the case, but I have a feeling that's probably. I mean, we haven't seen any of the lightning yet, have we?
No, we haven't. You're right.
It's been found in game, though. It's in the codex. Somebody did discover it. We just don't know where it's at yet, from what I understand.
I don't think it's been a confirmed one. Can I just add in there? But a lot of this is also to fix the bugs, because
I get that.
When we found the trees and the tree pods and the seeds, they were not research limitable. They would bug out and crash every time. So we thought it's just things thrown at us. All these metal crystals, I don't know, I'm presuming could be interactable. Can we mine them? It should be a great resource. No one's tested that since the update. Yeah. After the update, I tested the research limits and suddenly I can sample these things. So I would imagine they do drip feed us. They throw us 3-4 things, but there's a whole galaxy of regions out there. Who knows what's out there? I bet they got a whole load of stuff for us.
No, I'm inclined to agree. I think that this would be one of the occasions where they're actually holding back.
Now,
it seems like they're just spoiling so much for, to me, what seems like such little game. Right? I mean, you know, yes, I get what you're saying about all the testing stuff, and those are the kind of things where it's hard for me to argue and say, no, that's stupid, because it's obviously not, right? But at the same time, it's like, Elite's already buggy as fuck. If you're going to let it be buggy somewhere, let this be the place where it's buggy so that it's exciting and new at least. I don't know. Maybe that's stupid, but it's always.
I think there's a few surprises. But sorry, before you go, DJ, could Gru just jump in there? I think he was trying to say something.
Oh, yeah.
What I would like to say is now, in terms of what it's revealing, and you know, these seem like very significant things. What we're seeing so far, I'm under the impression that it's likely just a very small portion of what we're going to see. If you look at the world of like fungus, there's an incredible amount of species. And this could be a huge cutaway from the heavy like copy and paste techniques they've used up till now. Could be their chance to do something vastly different in a major way, which is interesting. Also, something to note about these things is these notable stellar phenomenon. When you map the rings, you'll notice that these rings sometimes will have some very interesting materials in them. And I think one is called Alexandrite, which current testing is showing you get 270,000 per ton. So this seems to be maybe opening up a level of deep space mining that's never existed in the game.
Yeah, I did notice that. When I was flying with Go, we did look at some of the rings. Now, when you got some of these launch points around asteroid ring, or the rings around the gas giants, I think it was Mosinite, something like that. It was the first one someone had actually mined, was someone who'd been out to the temple, mined some of the stuff, and found out what that was worth. And it was 250,000 a ton.
Yeah.
And he had a hotspot for that. And that was not the only material. I think we found about 6 or 7 new materials all the way up.
That's interesting, yeah.
These are materials or actual
these are
items?
mineable materials.
Mineable materials. Items or materials?
How much is opal in real world?
No, wait, hold on.
What I'm... Yeah, I'm asking whether or not it's
Commodity.
Commodities.
Gotcha.
That's what we're clarifying. Commodities. Yeah, I knew Yamiks. That's. I wouldn't get. I was making sure.
Be precise. Yeah.
Good clarification.
Yep.
You from Canon? How could you not be this
So
precise?
basically, are those more expensive than or more valuable than a low temperature diamonds?
About 15 times more valuable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
I thought low temps are low temps not in the. I thought low temps were in the $250,000 range.
No, low temps about 100,000, I believe.
Oh, okay. I had in my head they were about a quarter. Okay, fair enough.
250k. All the others, no one's minded to go on to find out the value. Now, opal is expensive. I've seen opal and Alexandrite, like who said, there's a list somewhere of some of the new ones we have seen, but there seems to be some rare stuff out at these rare locations. You've got a weird stellar phenomena, and you're going to have some probably high concentration of rare stuff there to pick up.
Be interesting if that winds up being piratable, like low temperature.
I don't want to be carrying 100-ton of opal around and coming back to the bubble.
No, I mean pirate. Like if you're that, but I mean pirating and NPC pirating, like you do with low temperature diamonds now. Which doesn't pay great, but it's one of the more fun ways to make credits.
I expect not to be, at least at first.
I agree with you. I would
like to see something worth over $1 million a ton. So when you're coming back, you don't even want to mention to your friends, because you got 50, 100 million in your cargo hold in a few tons. Even adders and cobras will be going, just give me a couple of ton, I'll blow you out of the water. I know you're my friend, but I'll take it.
Well, hey, you at Canon probably will realize how valuable the fucking probes are, so isn't that like that? Probes do cost some like, what, 600,000?
200 to 300 to 500.
Ah, it has decreased, damn.
But this is just per ton. Now, if it's mineable and you got a ton 10 full of a couple of 100 tons or 500 tons,
yeah. The question is how quickly can you get it? But no, you're right. I mean, that's
you got a hot spot.
So
that's
just to clarify, these are a bunch of commodities that have been found out there within these Lagrange clouds. Is that what you're? And some of the ring areas.
When they're in rings, if you look at the positioning of them, they're literally just to the side. The whole asteroid or ring is empty, but then you got two hotspots just around the Lagrange clouds with some high-end goods. We've only seen the value of one, so I'm hoping some of the others could be super valuable.
Okay, so you know what? I'll admit I missed that part of this. So then this is worthless because the Lagrange clouds are never. I mean, I would think they're not going to be somewhere where they're close enough that they're actual something we can go use to go actually make money at. You know, if we're talking these things are 12,000 light years away.
No,
and 800 light years away.
Very close by.
Colonia, right next door and 20 light years away from the nearest one all over Colonia. That's going to have a gold rush. You thinking that's the Midwest with all mining rocks, and now they've got some of the most valuable stuff right on their doorstep. One jump out.
Yeah, okay, so for the rare few that are out in Colonia. So, okay, so in other words, but this is not a general, this is not going to be a wide, you know, a wide-ranging way to make money.
But didn't you mention...
Well, the Lagrange clouds are great, don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing them. I'm just saying from a money-making standpoint.
You mentioned there was the cloud 800 light years away.
Oh yeah, and I just went to saw it, and it's meh. It was to me anyway. Now I did not scan the ring that it was in because I didn't know to do that. So that one, you're right. At that range, if depending on what you can make out of Obsidian, I guess that is close enough that you could make some potentially make some real money out of it.
That's only the first day, really. It's been about less than 12 hours since the one in the inner Orion spurt was found. So I think they might have switched on the Lagrange cloud spawns outside the temple, and they're going to find them elsewhere. So we might find some even in the Pleiades. Who knows?
I'd be surprised if there's not some
mining there, fighting Thargoids, because there's so much money to be made.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay,
oh, sorry. No, please go ahead.
There's a queue there. There's someone.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Put something super interesting.
I was just about to bring. Yeah, I was there. I was just about to bring it to Yamiks actually. What are these Yamiks?
Right, flash in the. Oh wait, you mean the numbers?
Alexandrite.
Right. So yeah, this is from my chat. Somebody posted, or GSXR. Yes.
Thank you,
since you put it up there, you know, shout out for you. Right. Anyways, yeah. Apparently these are the prices for the new well, commodities and whatnot else. But well, hey, okay, it seems okay, but realistically speaking, still, I don't know. I still don't think that fucking mining is gonna be anywhere good as anything else. So
you mean for credits?
Oh yes, obviously for credits, because
yeah.
gameplay-wise it's subjective, but realistically the only objective thing that we can compare is obviously the time and as well as the pay. So there you go.
Yep. Yeah, just another thought on the there. I can't remember what stage of the beta it was. It might have been phase 1, but wasn't Laurie Jameson asking for a bunch of either materials or commodities that are currently not in the game? Any of you remember that?
Yeah, I think it was, but it was quickly just removed.
Then they switched it back off again. Was that these opals and?
Yeah, I think it was opal and alexandrite. Yes, I remember somebody posting it. Yes,
I can pull a list of that for you in a second if you like. There was some that were located. A lot were sample or what you get from research from the new life forms. Well, I'll try and dig that out. Give me a minute.
Yes, right. I remember that one. It was a couple of days ago, actually.
Yeah, so these commodities may have a different use rather than just credits.
It was the pod tissue, it was the pod sample, or something like that. I remember that. Yeah. It was posted somewhere. So yes, now I know. Rather remember, yes.
It's just been noted there's a grandidorite hotspot in a system 20 light years from Shimrata Desra.
Yeah, very close, huh?
So you're not having to go out to find all of these things. Some of them are obviously going to be in the 20 light years from Shimrata, apparently.
Okay.
A grandidorite location.
Okay. And these are all commodities we can sell, correct? Yeah. Just clarifying.
So obviously they are going to appear. Some of these at least will appear in the bubble as well.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Do we want to do? There are other stuff around clouds, alien stuff. Do we want to move on to the ships?
Very quickly before we go on to the ships,
please.
I'd just like to ask the two Canon guys there what their thoughts are on the new discovery mechanics and the exploration mechanics, because obviously this is going to make a lot of difference to the way you've approached finding content in the past. So, I mean, what does it mean for you individually, and what does it mean for you two as a group? Yeah, go crew. Yeah.
Screw, you're talking. Go, buddy.
Oh, well. All right. I think Piper goes way back, much further than I do at this whole thing. He's actually one of the people who kind of taught me how to do this sort of thing once I joined Canon. But good God, I think Piper could agree with me. The amount of time it would take to map an entire planet before this update. I mean, I think you could start day one and you'd still be mapping that planet. Quite honestly, I think Piper, you probably agree with me on that.
Totally, yeah. I mean, looking at barnacles in the past, I could spend probably 4 to 5 days searching every inch of a small planet to get a vague impression I've searched it, and then still not know when I found things. So, on a planetary exploration, you've really got everything to study now. You're not just eyeballing endless beige, really, or even new color planets, but now you can be told where things are. It doesn't tell you what they are, you still have to go down to them, and I believe that we've even added numbering into it. So yeah, that's beautiful, because when you're trying to visit one and work out which is the other one you didn't visit, so you can tag through them, much like asteroid clusters listed A to H or whatever, or maybe numbered. So that does help a lot, and you can then also, seeing those on the planet, you can look at the geological placements on the planet. Now, you start noticing certain ones within the canyons and deep coloured ones, other things even I've noticed on mountaintops and craters only. So you send, rather than seeing less RNG, they probably weren't before, but you actually get a visual sense of where things are spaced and go, oh, look at that one. That looks a bit out of place or different from the others, and there's quite a few surprises, I would say. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, that's the picture.
Now, something I'm super excited about. I mean, if you think about the whole Formadine Rift days and, you know, what may or may not have been missed out there back then, that leaves it being that now you can, I mean, if you go in and map anything, you're being told everything within just a matter of seconds, and there's no chance of missing it anymore. You know, if you do a thorough enough job, anyways, of course.
Right.
That is something that can unlock a huge portion of the story. And another aspect, especially as you guys as content creators, is no longer do you have to rely on somebody else finding a cool site. You can find it yourself.
Exactly.
And then when you find an amazing view, amazing, you know, vista or horizon to take a picture,
those are relatively easy, but
that,
finding, you know, sites like, again, geysers and things, oh my god.
Oh my god, right?
Very,
and now
very,
you
very
can just literally say, look at the planet, and as a content creator saying, I'm looking for the absolute best view, you can say that one right there lines up perfectly with this planet or with that or with whatever, and I'm just going to go down there and see what that looks like. You no longer have to like rely on the hopes that whatever you find isn't just going to be in the middle of a vast valley with no light. You know, it's like you can now just do a mapping and choose and get the absolute best shots as a photographer, videographer. That has been, to me, one of the most awesome.
That's what
awesome
I like
changes
about it, that you can now leave a system, and when you exit that system, you know that you've seen everything that's in that system. Whether you've actually gone to physically look at it, you're aware of what's in that system. You're not no longer leaving that system thinking, "Oh, I wonder if I've missed something. I wonder if there's something on that planet or that moon."
Happened to me all the time, to be honest. I've spent even weeks on systems thinking, was there, wasn't there. Now, I just want to give a quick rundown on my thoughts on the new exploring mechanics. Now, took a bit of getting used to, I must say that, and running into the FFS. Still, there is elements of the old way and new way, and even the passive scanning, which I think is quite new to beta. I noticed that in the mid-stage. So, you're not going to be slowed down. You're jumping whatever, a couple of 100 light years, and you're going to look when you get there, but you can still give a quick honk. You're not going to see the full system map, but you get a quick spectrum on there of, you get an estimate. You can look at that waveform and go, can't look style, nothing of is going to spark my interest for what I'm looking at. Or even if you see stellar phenomenon, suddenly they're going to show up, and they'll even be in your nav panel. So you might stumble across a lot of stuff without realizing it, while you're just going along to look for things you are looking for. When you get to what you're looking for, then you're going to know whether it was there or not. Just not having a guess and have to wait till someone found it 3 months later, right where you thought you looked. So you can kind of go out there with a lot of determination, put your name out there, map places. You probably won't even map a lot of it. A lot of it you can judge and just jump on in 5 to 10 seconds. I used to look at the system map, decide stay or go, jump on until I thought I saw what I wanted. Now you can kind of do that, and it's a lot more immersive and enjoyable, I would say.
Did I just hear immersion?
There it is. There it is.
Oh, my throat is hurting after this. Oh, fuck me.
Do it again. Do it again.
No, fuck off.
Also,
I
with
still
these
want to
new
talk
live
next day.
things,
The sadistic
the way that
Obsidian
react,
comes
man.
out.
the way things react when you shine your lights, the range, it actually makes all these new things you find in Lagrange really like they're alive. It's not just like a static object making an odd noise and you're scratching it going, what the hell is it? It's reacting.
It's definitely.
How you interact with it. You might not understand it, you might have to research it, and I guess we'll get the answers later when they add that flavour in there, but there is things that you're a lot more interested in than before.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a stunning development in my experience.
It's the range of areas as well. You go in those Lagrange clouds and they all look so different. It's very, very different environments to what we're used to. I mean, you got some so colourful and so vibrant, and then I found one the other day which was pitch black. It was just a completely dark cloud. You go in there and you can see nothing.
The one that I just flew to today was just black Obsidian. The one that was like 800, it was 600 light.
Oh man,
night vision mode.
You literally need night vision to go in there.
Yep.
I've been to at least 10 colors at this point.
Have you guys viewed those in VR yet? How are they in VR?
I must say, Mullen was doing that a lot. He flew along with me, and I think he was using that and taking a couple of looks at the seeds and the trees we were looking at earlier. But it was fantastic. I mean,
and how do we think this is going to be something that's going to be relatively frequent, or do we still think this is going to be something that's very rare, very far away?
The earlier
I
beta,
hope we're far
I
away.
searched halfway around, literally about 20 nebulas, and looking for anything. I found nothing until I really decided I was going to the temple to see one. Since
Okay.
then, on the last update, they seem to have spawned elsewhere, so it might have been a limiting test in that area and see how it goes, throw it out there. You know, I would find it hard to believe that there's no Lagrange appliances in the Pleiades, but I'd imagine they're not going to show us those yet, because Thargoids are there, everything is going on there. Now, there's probably some things we don't want to see yet, or until we're ready to see it in alive, so we've not seen the storm clouds. Now, I'm imagining that's the lightning we have seen, and that's really going to be the tip of the iceberg, I think, for beautifulness and what is even in those places.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just going to move on to
please.
the tips in a minute.
Yeah. But
just before we go on to that, just very quickly, I want to mention about scanners, and I'd ask TheYamiks and you Exegius as well. Perhaps DJ, because I know you all see a lot of comments on your respective channels. One thing I've noticed a lot is that there seems to be a misunderstanding out there about the UFSS, and that people seem to think that the FSS just purely replaces the old advanced discovery scanner, and that they still need to fly right up to planets to do a detailed surface scan.
I had no people asking that, at least not in general. I make a point to explain this explicitly often. So
quite a lot. I just thought we'd bring it up here because I've seen it a couple of times in chat here. So basically, the two scanners are
apparently people that just simply haven't followed up with beta.
Yeah,
so
if they
just to recap, right? Obsidian, you can go. I can go. Whichever one.
You go do it.
Okay, right. So scanner, sorry, fuck me, the fucking shit scanner, right? So that fucking thing, basically is like the old one. The difference is that instead of actually revealing all the locations of the system celestial objects, it will only reveal the main star. Or wait, no, not the main star, but all the stars. And that's about it. Rest of the things you will have to scan through the mode thing, but you can actually choose and go and scan individual planets if they are listed. Some actually systems have them already listed as soon as you honk them, but those are very close to the bubble anyways. So if you're outside and you don't see anything in the system yet, the scanner says that there are celestial objects, you're gonna have to go through the scanner thing, or literally know where the planet is and go up to it and scan it. If you want, you can do that, but of course you can just go outside and quickly just enable the honkedy thingamajig and scan by the pulse wave scan. No wait, not the pulse wave scanner, but the well, the screen that everyone's been saying about the fucking shit scanner do. So that. And of course, on top of that, you get basically just, detailed surface scanner that gives you basically the, what was the fucking thing? Mapping as well. Yeah, detailed surface scanner just allows extra fidelity. So, yeah, once you've scanned the planet, you get also the surface map. Or was the surface map given to the detailed surface scanner?
Yeah, so the way
I don't remember that one, but well, there you go.
We had the two scanners previously, didn't we? The advanced discovery scanner and the detailed surface scanner.
No, we had discovery scanner, be that intermediate, scanner, basic, or advanced.
No, I mean in terms of you had the stellar object scanner. Then let's put it that way: the stellar object scanner. And then you had the planetary scanner,
mapper, basically the prober, right? So yeah,
well, they both the two old scanners have been merged into a single scanner. So you consider, you consider the star now when you jump into a system, bring up the new discovery scanner or the FSS scanner interface, and search for a planet. Find a planet using the spectral signal. When you zoom into that, that will give you all the detailed surface information used to get from flying over to that planet.
Yes. So instead of flying there, you can still do that. You can still do that. Yeah, if you feel like it. But it is literally faster to just align the correct. What was the fucking thing called? The wave scanner or whatever that part is, and just poke it and zoom in on it, and boom, you've discovered that. And there's actually a little detail that I've at least researched personally during one of my escapades and whatnot else, that at least in my experience, while taking up the old road to riches, just picking up the old road to riches and just going, on the same route and using the new fucking shit scanner, or the for fuck's sake scanner, my reward was actually about 50% more. So road to riches actually increases due to the fact that reward increases due to the fact that you don't need to go anywhere. You just immediately, as soon as you go in, honk, start scanning, depending on how fast you are. If you remember the diapason, the range in which the specific object resides in, like the Earth-like or water worlds and whatnot else, you definitely can go faster, and you earn more from Road to Riches, which was a surprise, but then again, not really such a surprise. The pay was the concerning thing that I was concerned about previously, but now I'm at least happy that the new thing actually does well. So if you're talking about the exploration,
because you can scan so far.
Yes, you can. You don't need to go anywhere. You can just
1 million light seconds away, or 300,000 light seconds.
It doesn't matter. You just zoom in correctly, and boom, you go.
Random question. So when you guys do that, I assume, do you just drop it at the star and just drop into the scanner and just do it right there while you're sitting at the star? And do you worry that that's
fly
going to
a little bit out. I fly a little bit out, but yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how much of a wave of ganking that's going to create, because that's going to leave you awfully,
Exegious, you're not thinking practically or pragmatically. Exegious, who in their right mind would actually do it in open? Seriously.
Yeah, I'm in open right now doing that.
That's your problem.
But I guess
that's mine.
You could argue that I'm not in my right mind, huh?
No. Again, whenever I personally want to achieve something, unless it's a mistake or whatnot else, I usually just go with solo and whatnot else. I mean, for fuck's sakes, I wouldn't go fucking filming in open. Fuck no. So yeah,
sure. And why would you?
I play games like I play everything else, being pragmatic rather just than, well, doing something stupid or challenging myself. No.
I see they fixed the zooming on the scanner, where when you zoom out, you're back on the same place where you.
Oh, that's good. Right, I didn't notice that. But yeah,
much better, isn't it?
Yeah, I just noticed that, and that's a huge fix.
But yeah,
I think some of the confusion has just come about because I think they've retained the name of the old detailed surface scanner, so people are assuming it's doing the same job.
I agree.
When it's now actually doing another job, and as a bit of a Yamikism, we were said.
Oh wow, Yamikism, yeah, definitely. Yamiksism. There we go. That's her.
We were saying on a previous. I said on the stream. Oh, now I've tripped over my words, Yamiks. I said on a stream Wednesday that we could rename it to the Planetary Orbital Scanner, or the POS.
He would love that, I'm sure.
It would go with the standardized HUD interface technology.
It would go with the standard HUD interface technology, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Of course. But no, just to quickly summarize the exploration now, over time, well, of course I know that Turgeon has plenty of issues with it, but honestly, surprisingly, I'm not being as cynical as him, or not as negative as him, and surprisingly, I am enjoying the probing. It's absolutely nothing bad about that.
You said probing.
Yeah. Yes, of course I did.
Sorry.
Come on, Exegious, you do want to get probed by me, but anyways, no, seriously.
Only I were so lucky.
So probing, in my opinion, nothing negative. Really nothing negative on my side. Aside maybe a nitpick or two about how things are tuned here and there, but that's about it. When it comes down to exploration, honestly, I am willing to lose the immediate magic whoosh, be able to see all the, planets and where they are. Just so I can actually scan them faster and actually have something to do while I do so, rather than just sitting there in the Super Cruise enjoying the quality motherfucking gameplay that you are given in this fucking game that is filled with so much quality gameplay that you get the point. So
real quick, I gotta head out, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Any last words?
No. Oh, any last words? Mamba isn't as bad as you guys think for AX.
Okay.
I have umbrage on that, but whatever. Yeah. So,
well, in that case, go check out. In that case, go check out Maligno's Medusa solo in one. I think he made it work pretty well. All right, see you guys. Thank you.
Later, man.
Cheers.
All right. So, no, in general, exploration. The only thing that we're literally losing right now, in my opinion, really is just the ability to quickly jump in, honk, and find the target that we need, or rather quickly scan the planet with your eyes, obviously, or mind, and realize that I'd like to go on this one and take a look whether or not there are some nice looking views. So only the aesthetical part of it.
Oh really?
So
I want to add in here, really.
Go for it.
Answer your question, really, because I found out passive scanning. Now that's something that I hadn't really realised. I noticed in the previous beta, and it's a lot more apparent in the last update they did.
Yes.
Now, when they changed the beta and we had the for fuck's sake mode scan, and I used to pull my hair out of that. Sometimes, it's great at the long range. It's like getting a telescope out. One of these long things you get on a ship in the 18th century. I've got to pull it out and I can see something 300, 400,000 light seconds away. It's lovely. They're all lined up. I can tag them. Sometimes when you get close, it's like you're too close with your telescope to see it. You can't do that. I've been to systems I had visited. I had the targets, and it's like you've been reverted to basic scan. So I could then use the nav point I had from the past to go and rescan it old school method. So it wasn't a question you had to all convert to the new method. If I had the scan before, I could go and scan it. But now there's also what I believe is a passive scan. Now, you give a quick honk. With Lagrange clouds, they're all sharp regardless. I don't even have to bother looking at the waveform on the FFS. That will give you a good hint. You can see that looks like a Lagrange cloud, or that band on the middle right is definitely water world, ammonia world if I'm looking for that. So you can really go, it looks like I might spend an extra 10 seconds to go and pull the telescope out to see if it's what I'm expecting. Now, if I've already got a target like a Lagrange cloud, or no, I can see there's a big shiny body there next to the sun I can't see, well, the passive scan, I noticed they highlighted it. When you jump into a system, you're seeing immediate, sometimes 10 objects found. Asteroid clusters already mapped, because from my gathering, about 10 light seconds from your jumping point, you'll map the sun. You don't have to honk. The sun will become scanned in a passive scan. With the
sun,
star,
if it's essential,
the asteroid
sun,
thing,
if it's essential, isn't it? Sun is
even if you've got metal planets within 10 light seconds, it will scan auto. And I found out, I don't know if I've got the detailed planet thing, which will all be the new scanner. I'm getting the full details of all that. If I select a Lagrange cloud on a planet 1,500 light seconds off on a gas giant, I haven't scanned it. I can't be asked to go and stop in Super Cruise to have to scan it, to then accelerate again. I can't stop fully. Dropping out, that's too slow. I can't go full speed in Super Cruise, that's too fast. I gotta be in Super Cruise. It's a bit of a sit there, parked on the hard shoulder on the motorway, waiting to be interdicted moment. But anyway, you can fly towards that, and when you're in a range, I think with gas giants, like you can scan those normally 700, 800, and 900 light seconds, depending on the size. They will passive scan. You fly within 10, 15 light seconds of that gas giant with its moons. You don't need to pull up and then start eyeballing with a telescope every A, B, C, D up to I
Just
moon.
scans it for you.
It will bam, 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 is within passive scan range. Now that is a beautiful little feature they added in. They
really
kind of,
is.
it's kind of an adaptation of the old method and the new method, and then you've got the FFS, which is for you like, I can't be asked going 2.3 million LS to the other sun to work out whether that's an Earth-like or whatever. I can scan it and it'll go, there's some biological, geological. Do you really want to fly there? It's a water world, and then you can make that decision and fly there and see what else is there. So it's really a win-win in many ways.
Though, actually, one sort of a nitpick for me is that the fucking shit scanner actually showcases whether or not the planet has some sort of geological, biological things right there without you needing to go and probe it.
Yes,
That's the only thing that I don't want there, because that's the part of actually going and probing.
Oh,
Kind of.
You'd just rather fly over and be told that, yeah?
How do you know what is there, though? Now, I don't want to delve too much into the pumpkins and bark mounds, but there, you see, if you scanned Earth, say you're an alien, arrived Earth, you're like, well, you might scan Mars and we've got a colony, there's one biological there and a bit of metal. Then you scan Earth and you're going, hold on, there's 45 million biologicals here, then you're going to really go, there, that's worth investigating. Sometimes you go to a place where you can, like the Lagorge Clans, you expect to find life, and yeah, you can expect to find 2, 3, maybe nothing. If you saw one there in a place you'd expect to find nothing, that's curious. Now, if you went to a place you expect to find life and you found 1 million lives, then you're like, I'll take another look. If you expect to find somewhere there's life and you found nothing, absolutely nothing, it's a dead world, water world, where life should be, then you've actually got readings you can take rather than having to fly there.
Yeah. I kind of like it. I think it, well, anything that saves time.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Things take enough time as it is, so it makes things a little bit clearer and a little bit easier, gives us a bit more direction. Helps us find what we're looking for then.
Oh, God damn it. Sorry.
Really does. If I may add, with TheYamiks, with your concerns about like it not having the system map anymore, as much as I wish we did still as well. It really, that tuning bar really does help you identify things immediately, what's in there. Once you become familiar with, like, on the left side is all your USS signals, and all the way to the far right moves into your gas giants. I mean, all you gotta do is look at the tuning bar. It tells you on the bottom right of your screen what that part of the tuning bar is, what's in that part of the tuning bar. So
I usually just stick a piece of paper on my screen, but there's that.
Yeah, right.
So literally,
so
that's the ghetto fix for it.
That's funny.
That could work.
That's funny.
But you get 1 million. You don't have to tune it and scan it. You can go, that's in a place that's worth looking at again. The rest is crap. So what's that?
Yeah, you can say, oh, well, there's 50 bodies here. There's a huge cluster in the energy bar on the ice. Yet there's 2 in the water world, Earth-like region, and that's just simple. You tune into that, you figure out where it is, highlight it, go to it, boom, you're out. So it really does. The tuning bar really does help you create a mental image once you get more familiar with it, of just exactly what it's telling you, the picture. So for me, I love it for the honking, and when I'm just gonna go, just refuel and go and just honk and jump when I'm going long distances. For me, it actually speeds it up because it drops the level of curiosity. Whereas when I would do that in the past, I would at least open up my discovery or my system app to see what I honked, and I would move. Whereas now I'm just like, I don't have the time for it, and I'm out. It really speeds things up actually for me in long range exploration.
Yeah, it's just going to be a case of people getting used to the way it works now, as opposed to how it was before. There's a lot more information present at a glance, I think.
Information and the gameplay. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we, if I can just quickly take us to ships, since we're just about out of time.
For the final thoughts, yes, let's go over the ships.
Yeah, exactly.
We're already at 2 hour mark.
Yeah, we've got the new, the mob has gotten some adjustments, heat generation, lower speed. What else, guys?
Right, so basically, maneuverability-wise, the pitch speed increased, your roll speed decreased, boost decreased, normal speed decreased, and heat increased. There you go.
Well, there's the quick version of the MABA. We got the
ask, it sounds like an FTL again. but wasn't it meant to be a fast ship? Now, if it wasn't a fastest
Right.
ship, and they nerfed the speed, so didn't they even call it a racing ship? Now,
Nerfed
it's
everything
hardly
was
a
good,
racing
buffed
ship
everything
if
was
it's
bad.
slower than most other combat ships on
Yeah,
the block.
yeah. Because
You know, sometimes racing can be slow
me.
too. Like, you know, ice racing and stuff like that. More it's about
that's
grip
true.
and stuff.
Yeah,
lie.
I don't know how a spaceship grips well.
That is
so,
maneuverability,
you know.
literally.
Nice.
Drift
Power
and an ability to
output.
change.
Yeah, it's
a
change
long
turn,
story.
You know.
Yeah, I'm a little puzzled by it as well. And you know, I think I've said this for the last year. Do we really need another medium class combat ship?
I can answer that quickly.
No.
Yeah.
We need a large.
Yeah,
course you do. It looks pretty.
The short version, right? Yeah.
Not even flowing,
And
I
then
want one.
the Phantom. There weren't any changes this week with the Phantom, correct?
Nope.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
the
I
same
didn't
as
think
it
so.
was.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, with that, and you know, we haven't done a bunch with the new ships yet, so it's hard to talk about them. Should we move on to? We'll go just kind of alphabetically, like we normally do, for everybody's last thoughts. DJ, not to put you on the spot.
No, one last thing that I do want to bring up before
please.
we go. Everyone, if you look at the Elite Dangerous newsletter this evening, there is a
that's right.
thing in it. They want to know what people think about the newsletter. They're doing a survey about the content of the newsletter.
About
And,
the newsletter
okay.
itself.
Excellent.
yeah, it's about the newsletter itself. It's
That's
wanting
awfully
to
meta.
know. Well, they want to know whether or not people are finding the newsletter useful. If it's
Ah,
going
shit,
too
it doesn't
often
promote
and
me
being
ever, so
annoying.
fuck it.
Absolutely, yes. I've been in it several times.
So yeah, it's and you know, obviously they're looking for ways to make that a more useful resource for the whole community.
Yamix, do you really see them promoting you in the newsletter?
I don't care.
And this week's on Yamix, let's see the top 10 asshole tips part 7, or here's how Elite Dangerous sucks ass this week. Right?
Or how to get up to a Thargoid.
Yeah,
There you
right.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, that was very informative and very important
It was
for a lot
actually.
of people.
I was very
So
impressed with
come
the level
on.
of science there, actually. I give you credit for that. There was a lot of science in that.
Well, you can
Fly
thank.
like a
sarcasm. I genuinely mean that.
You can thank a random scientist that I quote unquote persuaded. Yes, that's what happened.
DJ,
Yeah.
Yeah.
thoughts for the week?
I'll be honest with you. I'm super looking forward to this all getting out of beta now. I'm ready for the beta to be done.
Do I have your vote for when? Yeah. So you're saying 12/6. We need to add Obsidian to this, and Guru and Pan can join in too. We were predicting the date we think that Chapter 4 is going to launch.
Okay, can I actually change my date to a prediction?
No,
of the
you
6th?
can't change your date.
Oh, but now that I know that...
Exactly.
Well, no, now that I know that Stellaris' DLC is coming out on the 6th of December, naturally Frontier are going to release
Well,
on the
yes.
6th of December.
But my point
So
is,
even if I can't change it, then
Well,
I'm
you
just
have
saying
to-
here and now, on record, yeah,
You have
it'll be
6th
the
of
6th of
December.
December because
That's
I
what
thought
you-
I had the 12th of December.
Nope, you have 6. Oh, excuse me.
Oh.
No. You have the 6th.
Oh, okay, cool. Right, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's...
okay.
So
I
I'll check
reckon-
that out.
I reckon the 18th of December.
The 18th. That
Yeah,
late.
and
Okay.
the reason I say that is because that's the same week that Horizons was launched, and it's also the same
Ooh.
week that
Oh,
the original,
Well, that's
original
dumb.
Elite Dangerous was released.
okay. See, I've got the
Very good
11th.
points, very good.
Yeah, Paroxys's
Yeah.
got the 4th. Yamix is on the 13th. Astro's on the 4th, and you're now the 18th. And I'm more, yeah, I was thinking later rather than I wasn't thinking that late, but yeah. All right.
Cool.
Obsidian, do you have any final thoughts this week?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed flying around. Different things in there. It's just a load of different environments. Every time you've been in a different cloud, it's different layout.
Are they?
cloud itself,
the-
different,
Quick answer:
Colours.
are they worth going to see?
yeah, definitely. Well,
For
worth is
once,
subjective, I
yes.
guess.
After that, it's
You've
boring.
got to spend hours to travel to, but yes.
Oh god,
definitely.
no.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, fortunately, I was in the area anyway, so it's not like it took me any time to
Gotcha.
get there. But
Gotcha.
yeah, they're definitely worth a look.
So to find somebody that you know
whether
that's-
as to what YamiKs was saying, whether they're going to be worth looking at long term. That will depend on how much content Frontier add into them, because once you've seen 10 clouds, you've probably seen them all. So it's going to depend on what they add inside them. Yeah, hopefully there's a lot of stuff. I suspect there's going to be
a lot more than 10.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too.
And YamiKs.
Piper, no?
Forgive me. Yeah, Piper, please.
I have high hopes of these Lagrange clouds, and they're the latest feature on the block. I think we're distracted by the Thargoid incursion, which was expected. I think we're being thrown a whole new area of research, whether it's science or not. They made the research limpets work on these things, and they divided the galaxy up into regions. Now, I remember something there saying, oh, there'll be some things for people in Colonia to look at. And there kind of is, if you think about jellyfish, the squids at home, the trees here. That's only 3 areas with clouds we've investigated, and we've seen 3 different things now. The galaxy's big. How many areas have we got? 48 or something? I don't know. For people out exploring in the middle of the way, out of Beagle Point or in the Rift, I think if you see a Lagrange cloud, it's worth taking a look. Each one, I've seen many. I've been to about 30 or 40. Each one's unique. Some are boring, dusty crap. Others are next to the sun, and you see the colours. When you fly through them, it's like a mini nebula. You even see the drift as you move with lateral speed. It will shine from dark to black to reds to oranges as you move. You even see it billowing like clouds of gas there. So it even gives me hope they're working on the planetary landings by doing this stuff, because everyone is a sight to see, and there's millions out there, I'm imagining, but some will be spectacular, others different, some will have different life forms in crystals. It's really a Pandora's box they're opening up, and we've got to go out there and take a look. And I think it ain't going to be copy-paste, there'll be many different things.
I think you overestimate Frontier's capability of being able to put in proper effort. Just saying.
Okay, I speculated that it would be just trees. Then I thought, well, I jumped to Colonia, I found that. Then I speculated, well, holy crap, we found them back in the Orion Spur. I hope someone's going to go out there, and this morning someone's found squiddy things. So we got 3 new ones, and don't mention the blue brain trees, which could be guardian stuff. That's something new. I don't know, they moved, but I think there's a lot more out here. But until we go and look, really go and take a look, and in beta we're gonna find, I mean, after the beta's done live, I think we're gonna find a lot of stuff. We're gonna be scratching our heads. You ain't gonna know where you want to go and look, because there'll be so much stuff. Many will be similar, but we'll see.
Yeah, if I was gonna put bets on it, I reckon there's gonna be literally dozens of things to find. Maybe.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
Maybe too optimistic there, but that's what I think.
The next big gold rush in discoveries and science and other things. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting indeed. At least to listen to Canon and other people bitch and complain and then yell at each other about discovering things first and so on and so forth. So it's always an interesting sight. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
These new mechanics, it won't be just a select few finding things, though. Everyone's got that
right.
Exactly. So first to find Raxler, right? Oh boy.
Oh yeah. I think that's day 1.
Yeah,
if I may add just a small little comment here.
Go.
I'm super excited about all the if you're a player who's into science, these Lagrange clouds. If you know what a Lagrange cloud is, and if you understand, like, let me just say, with this new update, there's a ton of science to be had to understand in the game, which is just phenomenal. It's a new level of gameplay that's just awesome to me, and I think if you're into that sort of thing, this is your time to shine.
I guess it's my last thoughts then in that case. Right, so Mamba still garbage in my opinion. Let's see what else. The Thargoid combat zones are copy-pasted stuff that I see basically no effort really being put in, which is kind of sad. But I guess you got to fight Thargoids for some rewards, if there is any. Anyways, Thargoid incursion thing. You would have imagined that sort of a thing would be already in the game when the Thargoids launched, but I guess it's continue development and spur the moment inventions. At least that's what I see and feel, but well, I might be wrong. But overall, I don't know. The whole exploration actually gets me a little bit more hopeful in some ways. I don't know. If you are an explorer, if you find exploring something that you want to do in any game, honestly, at this point, even before you know, the fine-tuning of the fucking shit scanner, Elite already is the best exploration game in at least currently in the world. So if you're in such a thing, well, there you go. It's your time to take a look at this little game, I suppose. So that is my glowing review or recommendation, I suppose.
Nice.
As for the rest of the features of the game, yeah, let's talk another time then. Not to spoil the positiveness of today, I suppose. So here you go, folks. I'm not complaining all the time now, am I? But that's just referring last week's show. Right, that aside, well, the clouds, an interesting thing, but unfortunately, if there won't be any gameplay associated with it, it's gonna be just another, ooh, shiny flash in the pan, but that's about it.
To be honest, one thing I just interject there, the difference between the shiny, flashy, lifey things we had before, the one planets, we didn't know F all about them, even with the biomes, we were told nothing about them, there's very little we could do. Now we can research these things. I don't know what we can do with the samples. I'm hoping engineers are going to give us some stuff. Maybe we can research.
No. Your personal narrative, friend. Yeah, personal motherfucking narrative is going to be.
They have put in researchable things for this. We have given no info, so there is stuff to get. How that will change the game, it might be CGs, an engineer wants go and get me. It's something that could change, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, in general terms, I guess there's nothing else much. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just end it relatively quickly. It's been already over 2 hours.
Coming along. Really appreciate it. There's a couple of already, Schwicky and Dr. Anwid. And thank you as well to Guru and Panpiper.
Really so glad to be here.
A pleasure.
Really nice to have you here. So yeah, as Yamik said, I think that pretty much brings us to the end. I'm going to be around a bit longer, I imagine.
Oh, before we end though, there is one little thing that I do want to mention, since we are here for the platform, whatnot else, since the whole Reddit organized Extra Life charity thing is still going. I will participate in doing a little bit of charity there as well on Sunday. So the idea is basically, come fight me, bro. Come fight me. Like I did last year around this time too, I think, as well. So the essential idea is that for every kill or death, up to $100 total, I'll be spending $5 for each kill or death that I go through. Come one, come all. Doesn't matter if it's 1v1 or 1v many. I expect this to devolve into a complete TheYamiks massacre like last time. So that is my expectation. But again, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing, and the details are on the Reddits. So there you go.
Great.
You got to call it TheYamiks again.
No, again, it's come fight me, bro. And again, as I said, I will be taking monies out of my own pockets and encourage you to do, I guess, the same sort of thing if you want, if you have the time or money. So again, not everyone can sustain themselves and whatnot else.
Which group did you say it was for, TheYamiks? The charity?
Extra Life, that would be the charity itself, and basically the benefactor would be the Children's Miracle Hospitals, or their network rather.
Sounds like a pretty good charity.
That's basically just the short and sweet of it.
Sure. Okay, great. All right, cool. Yeah. Well, thanks. And I think we were saying a few people were going to stay on. Ant, you're going to keep streaming for a bit. DJ, TheYamiks, are you guys going to keep streaming for a little bit?
A little bit, I suppose, just to say final buys and whatnot else.
So we're switching over to Stellaris and doing a Q&A game, and then I've been invited to take part in a multiplayer game that starts at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Your problem, mates.
I may be streaming for a very, very long time.
Anyways.
That's a good first world problem you got there.
Right.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. It's been fun.
Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll catch everybody next week.
Cheers.
Be amazing.
Thanks, you
See you later.
Cheers.
Later, guys.
Bye.
So there we go, folks. That would be basically it. At least on my end. So let me turn back the alerts on. That will take a little bit time. Come on, Streamlabs. Whatever. It doesn't particularly want to work. But yeah, what's the point? Anyways, there were no. Donations during the stream, so I guess that I got to say thanks to just you watching and well, I suppose enjoying and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm very sick today. Basically, my nose is constantly running, so that's a fantastic feeling in the first place. My throat is almost gone, although actually right now it's better than it was in the morning, but still, yeah. TheYamiks today feels like shit and probably will feel like shit tomorrow, and I don't know how I'll be up for Sunday. But regardless, guys, as I said, yeah, if you enjoyed the stream, there's always the subscribe button and follow button on the Twitch side and whatnot else. That is YouTube and Twitch and whatnot else. Aside from that, well, if you want to support my escapades and whatnot else a little bit more, there's always a Patreon that is highly appreciated, and of course my own Discord that you can join in if you want and all that stuff. So I guess that'd be it for today. So enjoy your Fridays, and I'll see you then on Sunday if you come fight me, brah. So there you go, and that'll be it for today.